folks, this is Dave Wood, and I wanted to welcome you out to the live broadcast today. I'm here in the studio in Denver, Colorado, actually, and I'm excited. And I'm excited actually for a lot of reasons. The main reason being that if you guys are here, that means that you're the kind of person that you really want success in your business. You really want to get results on a new level in a different way. And you're here to learn that. And my responsibility, therefore, is to teach that to you and convey it to you in the most powerful way that I can. And that's the biggest reason why I'm excited, because I know how transformational this material is, and I know how much it can change your life. Now, I'm going to try to be as concise as possible today, which, of course, with me isn't always possible because, you know, I kind of ramble and tell stories a bit. But I'm going to make sure that all the stories that I tell are useful in illustrating the points that I have to get across. So what I want to do real quick to start off today, okay, a little bit different, is I want to kind of pre-frame the whole day and then specifically what we're going to be doing for the next hour, okay? And then I'm going to go into a teaching segment. We're going to have some Q&A, and then we're going to come around and I got a cool video for you guys to watch. Now, first thing I want to tell you, okay, is there is a PDF that is on the screen right now that's a bonus for being here on time. So congratulations on being on time. That's going to disappear in 20 minutes, and it's our special gift to you that, in my opinion, that PDF by itself could sell as a course. I just want to make sure that you download it and you use that as a resource because it's got a breakdown of all the things that we talk about in the Top Producer Formula course. I even wore a short shirt for you today. You know, I went to Priscilla and I said, I'm just going to turn it over to you. How should I dress? And she put me in the shirt, and I said, "Oh God, it's got sleeves on it." You know, but you know, I fought her for like 30 seconds, and I was just like, "Yeah, whatever. I'll just wear what she wants." And so, I wanted to come and present this material to you in a different way. All right, in a different way. So first things first, what are we here to cover? All right, what we're here to cover today is how to learn to sell and recruit like an absolute maniac. All right. I want to teach you guys how to scientifically construct the results that you want in your business. And if you take what I'm going to teach you today, it's not just for like applying it if you're an affiliate of Empower Network. I know a lot of you guys are affiliates. A lot of you guys are just customers too, and you're here to learn how to do this in a different business. A lot of you guys, you market lots of things at once. I'm here to teach you a formula that you can literally take this formula, you can reverse engineer it, you can deconstruct it, and you can market whatever you want for the rest of your life. The power in learning these skills and learning these strategies is that if you take these skills and you take these strategies, you can literally join anything at any time, and as long as it's a good product, okay, and it's got value to it, you can literally join a company, get a product, get access to some information, you can do some research in the market you're selling it to, and you can literally construct the income that you want in your business by constructing the amount of sales that you want to create in your business. Now, I want to warn you a little bit in advance, and it's not really a warning as much as it is a blessing. I am going to be selling today, too, okay? So people are like, I'm here, the broadcast, hey, I've paid for the broadcast, you can't sell me anything. Well, I'm going to be selling, and there's a lot of reasons why. I just want you to pay attention to this for a minute, because even if you don't buy, that's fine, right? But the reason I'm doing it is because, number one, we've got a Top Producer Formula course, we've got a coaching course that we're offering today, but really I want to demonstrate what I'm teaching, all right? And I learned a long time ago that if you really want to get good at selling stuff, there's kind of like this 3-step formula that I follow personally to get good at selling stuff. Now, you're going to think this is funny. I promise I'm not pulling a trick on you, and this is actually the truth, right? And this is my personal formula, right? That's number one is if you want to really be good at selling, and that's really what we do, all right? I'm going to paint out for you how, but if you really want to be good at it, right, number one, you got to love to buy from people who are good at selling stuff. You have to, right? And some people, they come and they approach things like this wrong. They're like, I'm going to be stingy with everything that I buy. Now, I'm not when I'm in Walmart. I'll go through the line and I'll just, grab a pack of gum on, the checkout line I wasn't planning, but I'm going to sit here with my arms folded. You have to sell me hard, right? But the reality is that if you don't love to buy stuff, you never go through the experience of buying. And if you don't go through the experience of buying, you never really experience what your market is going through. And so you don't really know them, right? So you can't really know what people are going through, who you're selling to, if you're never willing to buy anything. And that's just the honest to God truth. I actually will watch a sales video with the specific goal of watching videos until something sells me. all right? And then I'll pull out my credit card, buy it, never go through the product, and then I'll actually go through and watch the sales video again and see how they got me, because I love buying stuff, right? So you got to love to buy stuff, right, from people that love to sell stuff. That's number one. Number two, buy stuff often from people that are good at selling stuff, right? And then number three, just do what they did, right? You're going to learn a lot more by seeing me sell today, and it's going to be the minority of what I'm doing, because most of what I'm doing is teaching, but you're going to learn a lot more from seeing me sell than you can learn from anything else in the world. Kayala Kanai, who's one of our top producers, a new guy, he was working in a coffee shop a year ago, he actually told me, he said, Dave, I learn more from watching you sell than from any course on anything that I've ever bought. It's one of the most, the greatest pleasures in my life to just watch you sell stuff. It blows me away every single time. So I'm going to be doing that. So I'm going to walk over here. We've got this special monitor, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint out the formula for it. I'm going to paint out the process, basic, and I'm going to show you how it ties into the modules. I'm not even using a whiteboard today. Hold on a second. I got to make sure this works. I might switch to a whiteboard if it doesn't. Which camera am I supposed to look at when I'm over here? Does it matter? This one still? Okay. I just want to make sure. All right. So this is essentially the process, and this fits along with the modules that we're going to teach, okay? And let me explain how this works. I'm going to explain what's going to go on in each section today, and then I'm going to teach you what I believe is the most important thing to know in building your business, the most important thing to know in building a business from home, all right? So number one thing that you've got to do, okay, and this is what we're going to talk about over the next couple of minutes, is you have got to understand your target market and target a group of people to sell to. I'm going to put target market. All right? Number one. Number two, you've got to capture a list of people to sell to from that target market. That's step number two, right? Step number three, I don't know how to erase or anything. Step number three, okay, you want to create responsiveness in that list. Specifically, you want them to respond by deciding to buy from you, okay? Step number three. Step number four, okay? Step number four, wait, hold on a second, I'm making sure I'm going to, oh yeah, funded proposals. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. We talked about this a week, okay? Proposals. Step number five, I'm going to teach you the sales formula and actually how to sell. And then step number six, we're going to talk about closing, upselling, and recruiting. This is the formula that I'm going to be teaching basically the entire day today, okay? We're going to talk about targeting a market, capturing a list of people to sell to, how to create responsiveness in the list. We're going to talk about how to use a front-end offer to make a lot more money in your business. I'm going to show you a sales formula that then you're going to use to construct selling that front-end offer, but also you're going to use to get people into your business, how to recruit people into your organization. Really, the sales formula, like I've been talking about through the week, is applicable to everything. And then I'm going to teach you actually how to close, upsell, and recruit people into your business. And a lot of this is going to be on the phone. Now, I'm going to do some interesting things in each one of these steps. In each one of these steps, I'm going to offer you bonuses for making a decision and taking action. But also, in addition to that, I'm going to be doing something live to demonstrate the principles that we're going to share. All right? Now, one thing that I want to pre-frame in this is when we get to closing, upselling, and recruiting, I was really trying to think, how can I make this just a little bit more special? Okay? How can I do this in a different way? And so normally when you go to closing training, when you go to sales training, whatever it is, you're giving theoretical examples of getting somebody to buy something that doesn't really even exist. You're like, okay, pretend you're a person that wants to join my business, right? And of course, that's not really real because the person isn't really buying, and so they're not actually coming up with objections, and it just looks a little too easy. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to close people live, okay? And I came up with this yesterday because I was trying to think of a way to make the training a little bit more special. So I want to pre-frame this just real quick, and here's what we're going to do. There's a bunch of people in the audience. We got, a couple thousand of you who are here live, and so specifically from you guys, and also if there's any of you in the room, I don't know who's here, I'm looking for people that have not bought all of the products in the Top Producer Formula series yet by the end of the broadcast. Okay, if you've bought everything, please don't, please don't go here, because we don't want to like pull you out and like, have you be like another role play just because you want to come out in the webinar. So you can't have bought all of the products, okay, that we're offering today, which is, once again, we've got the recordings, we've got the Top Producer Formula product, and we've got the coaching. Okay, so you can't have bought everything. Next, you have to have the ability to buy all of those things. I believe altogether they're like $847 or something like that, right? So you have to have the ability to buy them today, all right? The next thing is that you got to have some sort of concern that's preventing you from making a decision. You've got a concern, you've got a question, something like that, and it's legitimate. Okay, so if you have a concern or something like that, we want to bring you out. All right, and then if you fit those categories, you need to have Skype, because we're actually going to video conference you in from the audience. And I'm going to close you in front of everybody. Now, if you're not comfortable being closed in front of everyone and being recorded, obviously you don't volunteer, but I'm looking for about 10 people for that section. So through the day, I believe it's Travis Reagan who's in the chat. You can actually send a private message to him, but they'll post a message in the chat explaining how to contact him. He's going to be pre-screening people and talking to you and making sure you meet those qualifications, and then we'll actually bring you out in Module 6, because I actually want to close real people after I demonstrate these principles and show you how to do them. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing through the day. In each process, I'm going to be demonstrating something while I'm teaching it. Okay? So right now, what's the most important thing to cover, and what are we going to cover for the next couple of minutes? All right? Here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover really who we're selling to. Okay? The most important thing when you're building a business like this is understanding that not everybody in the world are the best people to sell your products to. Now, if you're in Empower Network, if you're in another company, it doesn't really matter what it is that you're doing, all right? The reality is that most people in direct sales and network marketing, home business, and affiliate marketers do it too. They're trying to sell their products to everyone, right? And the problem with that is that when you try to sell to everyone, Aaron Rashkin actually said it the best, when you sell to everyone, you sell to no one, right? And the reality is there are a lot of people that do not want to buy what it is that we're selling. Let me give you a great example of that, and I might get slapped in the face or something for this, but a great example is, it's really obvious in our industry on online marketing that Frank Kern hates network marketing and hates MLM, right? So if I go up to Frank and I pester him every single day and I say, Frank, I want you to join my downline, I want you to join my downline, I want you to join my downline, on a new hot deal, there's nothing in the world that would probably make him more angry and make him want to kill us all more than trying to pester that guy. He's not in our market. Does that make sense? Not everybody wants to join a business from home. Not everybody wants to join a network marketing company. The biggest mistake that we could make is thinking that we're selling to everybody, because we're not. Okay? So we're selling to a specific group of people, number one. And number two, within that group of people, okay, let me see if I can, wow, that's cool, right? Within that group of people, there's a spectrum, okay? And the first time I ever had something like this explained to me, it wasn't explained quite like this. It completely revolutionized the way that I thought about what it is that we do. Number one, we've got a target market, so I'm going to put like a little bullseye here, because I don't want to write it again, right? And then number two, we've got a spectrum of the hotness of a prospect, okay? Now, on the end over here, we've got they're freezing cold, right? And this is a person that maybe they're in our market, maybe they want to make more money, but they're not even thinking about it. They're not looking for it, but maybe they've got bills or something to pay, and they can't pay them, and maybe they're thinking, I wish I had an opportunity. That would be like a person, a lot of network marketers are like, oh man, I got a prospect. But the reality is, they're not looking for what we're doing, they haven't been researching it, they're not thinking about it. So in order to sell that person, it takes a lot of work, because you're gonna have to move them through the rest of the spectrum. Now on the other hand, you've got their credit card is in their hand, and they're filling out the order form and they're buying, right? They're people that are literally buying, right? So you've got people who are cold, and you've got people that are buying right now. That's what you've got. Now, in between that spectrum, you've got the decision-making process that people go through in this industry, right? And that decision-making process is a little different for everyone, but the reality is that there are phases of it, and there are a huge amount of people going through each phase, all right? So on the cold end, you've got people that aren't really even looking for it, and you say, who's in our market? Everyone. Who's struggling with the economy? And everybody raises their hand. You know, who in here has ever had a boss who's been mean to you? Everybody raises their hand, and they're like, These are our prospects. No, not really. You got to convince them to buy. It's really difficult, and you got to be really good. Now, I can convince these people to buy, but even with that, if I get in a room of completely cold people, there's no way I could have 80 or 90% closing ratios in a room if they're totally cold like that, right? And then number two, you've got somebody who, they're struggling with the economy, or maybe they want to make more money, and maybe they get approached by something, and somebody gives them a video, somebody gives them an audio, somebody says, do you want to make money from home? And then they're like exposed to it, and they're in the target market, right? And they're a little warmer, right? And then you got somebody over here who maybe they've done that, maybe they've seen a presentation, right? They've looked at something, they've looked at a booklet, they're a little bit more open to it, right? And now they're starting to think, I wonder if I could actually make money from home. I wonder if I could actually make money from a network marketing business. I wonder if I could make money in Avon or Mary Kay or Amway, whatever it is, right? And then you've got a person, right, who's actually thinking about joining right here in the middle. They're thinking about it. They want to buy something, they want to join something, okay? And maybe they don't know what it is, and maybe they don't know who they're going to join with, but they think they want to do it, right? They're about ready to make a decision. You get a person like that in a room, you could close 90% of them, right in the middle of the spectrum. But then there's this other part of the spectrum. This is where it starts to get really fun, okay? Then you've got people that they know they want to join something. They're doing active research, trying to find the best thing to join. Then you got somebody who they know what they want to join, and they're doing active research, trying to find the best person to join, right? And then you've got a person who's bought something from you before, and they're thinking maybe they want to join with you. And then you've got somebody who's bought something with you before, right? And they want to join with you, or they've joined something with you before. And then you've got people right over here, right before this, who are loyal to you, right? And who will join you and everything. Now here's the key. When you are doing marketing, when you are targeting people, here's what you actually want to do, right? You want to get better and better at getting people as close to the buying process as you possibly can. Now here's why, and this is going to be a breakthrough for you when you start thinking like this, okay? And then we're going to go through and I'm going to do some Q&A on this, and I'm also going to talk about specifically who these people are, right? The closer you can find a person to a buying decision, the easier it is to sell to them. Right? Like if I take a couple groups of people, for example, one group of people have never bought anything from me before, another group of people have bought something from me before, right? Out of those two groups, who's it easier to sell to? Customers, right? If I take two groups of those people and I say, out of the customers, I've got people that aren't customers now, right? They were customers before, now they're not. And I've got customers that are active and they're paying for something. Who is it easier to sell to? Customers that are active and paying for something. If I take those two people and I split them into two and I say, okay, out of the customers that are active and paying for something, how many of them have bought something new in the last month and how many of them haven't? Who's it easier to sell to? People that have bought something new in the last month. If I say, okay, I'm going to recruit people into a new company, who's it easier to recruit people in? Who's easier to recruit? People that have actually joined my downline or people that haven't? People that have actually joined. Okay? The closer you can get people to the buying process and the closer you can capture them here, the easier it is to sell and recruit. So the question is who are those people and how can we find more of them? Because when you can target people here, you can get conversions and you could build teams faster than you could possibly imagine, right? How do you find people like that? Where are they and who are they? Well, let's go through them. So we've talked about the buying process, and now let's talk about what I want to talk about is kind of defining the spectrum of people that we're selling to, who they are, and how to target our problems. Now, a lot of this is something that I'm going to train on, but a lot of this is something that you're actually going to have to research and think about. Okay? And I've actually got a bonus for those of you who buy all the products that we're selling and you do it today before the price increase. On this, we're actually going to give you a bonus. We're going to have a market demographic breakdown describing the needs and the problems of our target market. Okay? But number one, you got to ask the question, why are people joining this kind of business in the first place? Why are they actually joining? Okay? And there's a bunch of answers to that question, but the easiest way to do it is actually, and we'll do this in a minute, is just to ask you guys, and you guys could tell us in the chat why it is that you join. Here are the main reasons why people join a business from home. Number one reason they join is they want to make more money to do something specific, right? It's not that they just want to make more money, they want to make more money to do something specific. And most of the time, the amount of money they want to make is like $1,000 a month, or it's $2,000 a month, or it's $5,000 a month, or $10,000 a month. Most people in North America, it would completely change their destiny to make $3,000 extra bucks a month. It would double their income, because that's the average income, right? So if you could get people making a few $1,000s a month, they're joining for that, right? So they join because they want to make a certain amount of money, maybe, and maybe they want to join. Maybe they join because they believe that they can actually do what it is that you're telling them to do, right? See, because if people see what you're doing and what you're doing is actually cool, but the way that you're doing it is not cool, what do they say in their mind? They say, that looks really good, but I don't think I can do that. And if they say that in their mind, they're never going to join, and they're never going to join with you. So it's not just about having something good that could make them a few $1,000s a month and meet the need of their problem. What it's really actually about is it's about doing it in a way where as you're doing it, they're looking at you, and this is what they're saying. They're saying, you know, I really like this. I think that this is cool. I really like how he's doing this. I think that the way he's doing it is cool. And not only that, I believe I could do what he's doing, and not only that, I believe that I could do what he's doing with the people that I know, right? If people are saying that in their mind, the cost all of a sudden, we're going to talk about risk reversal later, but all of a sudden the risk of their decision just kind of like drops to nothing. And they make a decision to get in, they make a decision to buy, right? So you got to ask, why are people actually buying this? And we're going to go through this with the group here in a second, right? But so why are they buying, right? Number two, where are they buying from? You know, are these people buying in home meetings? Are they buying from a sponsor locally? Are they looking on the internet? Where are they looking for a person to join? Where is it that they're looking for something to buy? Are they opening their emails and buying from the emails? You know, something I learned a long time ago as well is there's different marketing modalities, right? In this industry, you know, a lot of people do home meetings, a lot of people do weekly meetings, a lot of people do events online and stuff like that. We've been the specialists of the online events. We're taking it to a new level, as you can see. But if somebody's bought from an online event before, it's really likely that they're going to buy from an online event again. If somebody's bought from a direct mail piece before, it's really likely they're going to buy from a direct mail piece again. If somebody's bought from a phone call before, it's really likely they're going to buy from a phone call again. So if you reach out to people in the same way that they buy, the reality is they're going to buy like that again. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So where are they buying? Number two, what are they really looking for? Right? So I'll put where, right? Where, what are they really looking for? What do they really want, right? What is it? Do they want more money? Do they want to change themselves and feel more confident? Do they want a career change, right? Most people don't wake up in the morning and say, I want a career change today. Because after you're like 30, you just stop thinking about it. You're like, God, all these are boring, you know? But what happens is people like look at their bills or they look at their bank account and they say, God, I'm like, 28 or 38 or whatever it is. I don't have any retirement plan even started. You know, I got kids coming. People have a kid and they're like, I can't pay for college. You know what I'm saying? So people are on this big spectrum of needs, right? And what is it that they're actually looking for? And then how can you speak to them based on that? So who are they, right? Who are they? What's the target in your market demographic? Who are they, right? Like, I look at the people in, there's a guy named Bill Britt, and he's dead now, but I listened to his stuff for a long time because he'd built such a big team, and it fascinated me, right? And he was an Amway cat, and he died, I believe, in 2011, 2012 or something, just the other year, right? I always forget what year it is. But he said the majority of people who are really going to build a big organization, not the people that get in, but the people that are really going to succeed, he said the majority of them are between the ages of 25 and 35, they're married, and they're making under 70 or 80 grand a year. Right, at the time it was 60 grand a year, but inflation's gone up. So he said between their 25 and 35, they're married, right, and they're making under 70 grand a year. Now why is that? It's because that group of people, they haven't given up on their dreams yet, right? They're married, and so they've got some sort of sense of responsibility, right, which that's not always true, right? But married people generally have a higher sense of responsibility. It's why they get better insurance premiums and things like that. There's big statistics on that. But also, right, they're still moldable. Once somebody gets to a certain age, the truth is, not all of them, but a large group of people, they do stop listening after they get to a certain age. So he said the majority of the people that are actually going to build it big, he said this is not a rule, right, but this is just a generality, are between 25 and 35, they're married, they're making under 70 grand a year, right? And now I look at that and I actually think about, this is the interesting thing, I think about our $1 million earners, right? And pretty much all of them fit kind of within that range. Not all of them do. We got some that are a little older, right? But not that much, right? And if you look at the people that are six-figure earners or seven-figure earners and things like that, in most network marketing companies, most of the time, the first time they did it, they were between this age range, right? That's useful to know. It doesn't mean that somebody who's older can't do it. What it means is that no matter what you're doing, if you're bringing in a lot of people in these categories, right, you're bringing in a lot of people that you can mentor and coach, right? But who are they? And then what are their problems if they've joined this industry before? What are the actual problems of somebody in this industry? See, when you get into somebody's problems, this is where the magic happens in actual target marketing. Because when somebody's looking for something, they're looking for something because they've got a specific problem that they want to solve, right? Now, I was a great target market when I got started, and I'm kind of like an archetype. I'm like a metaphor for the way that the market is, right? When somebody's really close to a buying decision. Here's how long it took me to sell me the first time I got into a business on the internet. This is how long it took. I was extremely frustrated with something, right? And then I went online. I was like, there has got to be a way to sell online through video or something like that so I don't have to sit here and chase people around all the time. I went online, I looked for a company, and then I looked for a review. I saw a video of a guy that was like a minute and a half, and I said, you're shitting me. I clicked a link below the video, went to a page, said, you're shitting me. Put my email in. I was like, oh my God. Clicked a link, scrolled all the way down the buy page without reading something, pulled out my credit card, hit the button, and joined. That's how hard it was to sell me. Now, I'd like to sell to a lot of people like that, you know what I mean? So then I went in and I made that guy a couple $100,000 without him ever doing anything for it, right? He never mentored me, never coached me or anything. And I just made him a couple $100,000 from joining his downline, right? Because I was ready, you know what I mean? But why was I ready? It was because I had problems that people in our target market have. Now, this is important both to understand, but it's also important to know the solutions to those problems because this is how you market. You know, a lot of people, they're like, okay, so how is it that we actually sell to somebody? How is it that we actually market, right? This is how it is. Somebody over here has a present state that they're in, right? And they have a desired state, somewhere where they want to go. And in between the present state and the desired state, there's all these walls and all these problems that they run into, right? And these problems are real, and the cool thing is they're the same for everyone. Like in network marketing, for example, most people have training like this. You want to know the secret? Pull out a pen, pull out a piece of paper, make a list of everyone you know. And you say, okay, I know 50 people, and they're like, oh, you know more than 50 people. Who do you go to high school with? Who do you go to church with? Do you go to church? Yeah, I go to church. Is your pastor on the list? Oh, no, I haven't put him on there. Have you put all the congregation on the list? Well, I don't know all of them. Well, you have a congregation book, don't you? You know? And who's in your high school book, right? And you just make the list, make the list, make the list. Well, now, here's how many times most people will ever do that. One time, and then they're done, and then maybe they'll join 5 years later, but then somebody tries to get them to do it again, and they don't actually do it. They say they do it, and they're lying, right? The reason is because it's brutal, right? So one of the things is the brutal strategies of this industry, right, are a big problem from people's present state to the desired state. People know they need to recruit, right? But they have to go through these brutal, they think they have to call everybody in the yellow pages. They need to cold call realtors. They make lists of their family and friends and hawk things to their family and friends. Now, there's nothing wrong with those strategies. They do work, but they work if you've got a great market around you. So I'm going to talk about that in just a second as a strategy piece, okay? And then we're going to move on to some Q&A, right? Brutal strategies is one of the things that are a big problem. And what could we go? We could go, are you doing home meetings? Are you prospecting on the phone all day? Are you calling people and just having them say, no, 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 no? Have you spent $5,000 on home business leads? Have you gone to a home meeting before and knocked on the door for a home meeting for a downline you just started last Thursday, and you go to do their home meeting and you hear them inside, but they won't open the door, and you just drove an hour to their house, right? People in the audience laughing because you've done that probably, haven't you? Yeah, I see pain in her face when she's laughing, right? Because I know she's done that, and I know people in this industry have done that because I've done that. I showed up at more no-shows than actual meetings with people there when I was in this industry. So you got the brutal strategies, right? And then what do you got? You got the low commissions, right? The low commissions, the truth of it. One of the best letters that was ever written was, it was actually Carbon Copy Pro's old sales letters, coffee house letter, right? And I don't think they're doing anything anymore. But this coffee house letter was like, are you building downlines of thousands for a check of hundreds? You know, it was talking to people about the reality of this industry, which is the brutality of low commissions from large downlines, right? So it's a problem, and anytime you talk to somebody in this industry, they will admit that problem, right? You've got brutal strategies. You've got low commissions, right? And then what do you got? You've got, the reality is that, people don't have a mentor. They don't have a team that they can really work with. And the uplines and the sponsors they work with, they're constantly jumping from deal to deal. They're selling one thing one day, another thing the other day, and they're around this inconsistency all the time. And so if you can offer them something different, if you can be the solution for that, right, you can provide them a mentor, right? But you have where they are and where they want to be, and there's all these problems in the way. And if you could learn how to target and speak to these problems, that's how you capture people on a list, which is actually what we're going to talk about in a minute, right? But if you capture a list of people like that, right, here's the beauty. By solving these problems, which we're going to talk to in how to build responsiveness, we're going to talk to this in the sales process too, by presenting yourself as solving these problems, here's what you're actually doing, is you're taking people that want to buy, solving their problems for them. In the process of solving their problems, here's what they say. They say, I want to join with this dude. I got to work with this guy. That's what they say. People do that with me all the time, right? That's what happens when you sell to people who are in a target market. Now, there's another way of doing this too, and this is just something I want all of you to think about, and then we're going to move on, do some Q&A, and we're going to talk about actually your problems just for a couple of minutes, okay? But this is something to think about because, a lot of people, especially in the online space, they alienate people all the time in other companies and stuff. Right? They're like, my deal's better than your deal. They're like, don't join Billy, join me. Don't join that juice deal, it's awful, right? If we're going to make fun of low commissions, I never am specific about it. You know what I mean? I don't make fun of I don't go and make fun of Amway for low commissions. You know what I'm saying? I'm general about it. I just make fun of the tiny paychecks because then everybody kind of laughs. But if you alienate people, here's the real problem with that. And I want to, because those people are your target market, right? They are. They are your target market. Let me show you something, and this is the life cycle of a network marketer, and this is just true all the time. Even if somebody stays in one deal and they keep going through the cycle in one deal, people go through this cycle. And I actually got this from Randy Schrader originally, but this is the way that it works. People are like a clock dial, right? And the clock, you got two hands, right? I'm just going to put one hand for now. I'll put them both up here. This is called high noon, right? At high noon, what's this? These people in this industry are unrecruitable, right? They're making more money than they've ever made in their life, right? They're recruiting more than they've ever made in their life. What they're doing is hot, right? Their income's $100,000 a month. It's $50,000 a month. And a lot of people, they come and they know these people are unrecruitable, so they're like, yeah, don't join that guy because of this reason and this reason and this reason. Like they're a politician and they're watching their house or something, right? But here's the problem with alienating those people, is they will never, ever, ever, ever join your team, and they're the ones that really, if you get one of them, you're like, oh my God, this is so cool, right? But people alienate them, right? You want to build friendships with those guys and never offend them, because here's why. Because high noon moves to 3 p.m., right? And what happens at 3 p.m.? Well, it's like they've been sitting at high noon for a while and they just kind of stopped doing stuff, or maybe their company had some issues or whatever, and now their income's just down a little bit, right? But then you have 6 o'clock, right? And what happens here, right? What happens here is all of a sudden something bad happened. The FTC came and it shut their Ponzi down. They were making $100,000 a month in Zeek rewards, right, or whatever, and they were breaking laws and stuff, right? But or whatever it is, they didn't know, or the company went out of business. I've had companies go out of business before, right? I had a friend, his name was Cedric, and I was not going to join Cedric. I was set in my deal because I don't jump from thing to thing, right? But then all of a sudden I got a phone call from the CEO, and he said, Dave, we're going out of business, right? We decided to shut down network marketing. Do you want a sales job? Because we're decided to go through a business-to-business sales model for this. And I was like, dude, nobody wants to buy this. They're just buying it to get commissions. This is what I told him, right? Which is probably, one of the reasons he called. But I was like, dude, I was like, people will just cancel. Everybody's going to cancel this company, right? So in any case, here's what happened. I wasn't going to join Cedric, but then I hung up the phone, picked up the phone, called Cedric with my credit card in my hand. I said, get me in right now. I'm doing a webinar in a half an hour, and I need to have an affiliate ID before I start recruiting, right? By the end of the day, I had personally enrolled 67 people, okay, from the time my company went out of business to midnight, right? See, if you make friendships with people when they're at high noon, they never stay there. And they'll always go through this life cycle. And when they come down here and you're the source, right? And you're helping them solve their problems, all of a sudden what happens is all of a sudden they go from closed to open, and you've got somebody who could bring 10,000 people in your team. So just be very careful in your target marketing, because a lot of people say, are you in X company? Your upline is lying to you, right? Well, what's the problem with that? The upline sees it, and they're never going to join your team when something goes south, right? Or when they're looking for something, or when they want to build an extra income stream, and they're the ones you want. So be careful in your marketing, be careful in your target marketing on who you're slamming, because you don't want to slam the best people, right? But this is the model. You target people in your target market, you learn to capture leads, you learn to build responsiveness, and then I'm going to talk about that in responsiveness, but that's basically trust with buying, right? You sell them things that will help them solve their problems, and then you recruit them and close them to your company. And that is the entire model of what it is that we're doing. So here's what I want to do real quick, is I want to do a little exercise with you guys more than anything, just for a couple of minutes, is I want to talk about just some of the reasons why those of you who are both in the room, we could do it in the room, but also online, well, why you guys have, joined your first business. The first time you got involved in home business, the first time you got involved in network marketing, what was it that really made you make a decision to join? So I don't know if you guys want to pop this up here, but if you guys just want to write those answers in. What about in the room? What about you? What made you decide to get in? If you give them a microphone here real quick. I'm surprising them because, I didn't know they were going to be here, but what's your name? Denise.
Yeah.
Denise. And what is it that you do for a living outside of this?
I'm actually a truck driver.
You're a truck driver. So what made you decide to get involved in network marketing?
20 years ago, just the freedom that it could give me.
Okay, so 20 years ago, 20 years, right, she got involved for freedom. Now, what problems have you had that have prevented you from getting that freedom?
Everything that you talked about.
Everything I talked about, right? She was laughing as I was talking about every painful thing. Take somebody online here real quick. What's somebody's saying online? What is it? Why is it that you joined, and what problem have you had, right, that's prevented you from getting in? Right? We'll keep passing the microphone around too. But just pass it over around in a circle to this guy. We only got a few minutes. What's your name?
Jason.
Jason. And what do you do for a living outside this?
Nothing.
Nothing. So this is all you do.
Yes.
So what made you decide to get involved home business first time you did it?
Freedom is my favorite answer.
So freedom is his favorite answer, right? Was that the actual answer of what made you get in? Was there something specific?
From a business model perspective, I really like being able to empower other people to become better.
Okay, and they've got somebody else online too. Miriam, being a mom and having freedom to work and have income. So people get in a lot for freedom. So now you obviously do this full time. What problems have you had along your journey that have prevented you from getting that freedom at different phases?
Myself.
Okay, yourself. All right, but what specifically do you mean by that?
Getting out of my own way and taking action.
Taking action. All right, taking action. How long have you been in the industry?
I was first exposed to the industry in the late 90s.
In the late 90s. Okay, okay. And what made you come here today? What was it that made you want to come to this live broadcast in the room today with us?
It's once in a lifetime opportunity.
The opportunity to do what?
Partake in a huge webcast. Hear the man himself.
But what specifically do you want to learn that you think that you could learn from being here?
I set forward a 90-day plan a week ago, and a lot of things are just coming, like law of attraction stuff. It's amazing.
What's your 90-day plan? What do you want to accomplish?
I want to make more money than my wife at her job.
And how much is that?
She's making a six-figure income.
So you want to make 6 figures from doing this?
No, I want to make $25,000 a month.
He wants to make $25,000 a month specifically in doing this. All right, so I'm looking for something specific. So that's why he's here, right? And so people always have a reason, right? Derek Buon, security outside the military, okay? So he has a job, right, in the military, but outside the job, he's looking for security, right? Now, what about you? Just pass they have the microphone, they're bringing it back. If you guys just leave this out in the audience, actually, that might be useful to you, because I'm just going to keep passing it around. Eric Ice Gibson, replacing the income in my family post-divorce, okay? So, he had a marriage, right? His income was one level, right? And now his income is a different level. Now he's got a problem, and he's got a problem to solve, right? And that's why he gets in. So what's your name?
Dean.
Dean. And you said you're a broker or something, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's outside of this. And you're here because you said something specific out there. Why is it that you're here?
Well, I've been in the brokerage industry for 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
We had a certain business model. They're changing their tack from being more customer service oriented to more asset gathering, and we don't get to collect a book in the organization on hand, so I do that work one time, and then I have to go find somebody else, and I don't get long-term benefit from it. So I figured if I'm going to do that kind of work, I'm going to do it for myself.
Okay, so you're here because you want to work again for yourself.
Right.
Right. And how much money do you want to make working for yourself that you need to make in order to be able to replace what you're doing full-time for somebody else?
Well, to do that, I'd have to do minimum of $10,000 a month, but
okay.
That is the minimum.
Okay, so he needs to make $10,000 a month minimum. Now, what is standing in your way right now of making $10,000 a month?
Well, I'm brand new to the online part. I was at Amway back when I was 17, 18, 19 years old.
Okay.
Also, back, and
so you're brand new to online?
Yep.
So what's standing in your way?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Knowledge on what?
How to, well, I'm getting better at it. I've been doing it for 2 months, but it's the, the funnel system, the how to, get the traffic to the funnels, how to
okay, so
traffic,
funnels, how to get that to funnels, how to convert it, and things like that.
System and structure.
Okay, system and structure. All right. Here's what I really want to do with you guys as an exercise, and here's what I want to give you guys as an assignment. Those of you who are watching. So Prince, I had 3 jobs, was homeless, and he was living in my car. So you're like me, right? So guys, the reality is that here's what you've got to get really good at. Is number one, if you look in this audience and you're reading things in the comments on why people are here, right? People join for really specific reasons. Like you see freedom popping up again and again and again and again and again and again and again with people who get in this industry and they stay in the industry, right? You see it again and again and again and again. I want to quit my job. I want to work for myself. I want to have time freedom and financial independence. I want the ability to travel. I want the ability to move in a different country. I want the ability to make a 6-figure income. You listen to people's incomes, and most of the time I want to make 6 figures a year. You get specific, it's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month they want to make, which is most of the time more than somebody's ever made in their life. If you really start to know why people are in this, doesn't it make sense that when you're presenting your business, you want to demonstrate and show how to do these things that people want, right? But also within this industry, you're going to run into the same problems again and 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 again, because it's the same stuff all the time, right? That's what we're doing, right? So here's what I actually want to do just for a minute is I want to give you guys an assignment, number one, right? And your assignment is simply this, okay? I want you to, number one, make a note through the day of like, what is it that are problems in the market that I'm noticing in the chat, in the columns, that people are sharing, that people in the rooms are sharing. What problems are people having that make them make decisions to join, right? What kinds of people are they? Who are they? Like we got in the room, we got professional people in the room in different professions, right? You'll find over and over and over and over again in direct sales and network marketing that people who get in this industry and stay in this industry are people who generally have successful professions outside of it. Now, why is that? Because professional people generally are more attracted to learning, but also they have money to spend on this stuff. See, if we're always trying to market to homeless people like me, I'm not really that great of a target because I don't have any money to spend once I join something, right? So start making a note of who is it that we're actually selling to, where can I find them, who are they, what problems do they have? Now, I'll tell you one of the best ways to learn this because this is kind of like a living art. And by the way, if we're going to we're going to have you watch a video here in a second. Those of you who decide to buy all the products that we're selling, one of the bonuses we're going to give you is a demographic report of who our real target market is as a bonus for this module, because that will give you guys a scientific breakdown of who is it, right? Who is it that's really buying from you, and how can you target them? Where are they searching? Well, what modes are they searching in? But as far as how can you learn this, I'll tell you the best way I've ever learned about who our market really is listening to audios with people's stories. A lot of people don't like listening to that stuff, right? They don't like listening, okay, yeah, before you were a broke baker and now you're rich on the internet. I'm so excited to listen to it. Teach me what to do, right? But what are they teaching you when they're telling you a story? They're teaching you who they are and how to target them. Does that make sense? See, a lot of people, they don't listen to that stuff because they think that it's like, hype or something. But they're actually, when you're listening to that, you're learning who you're selling to, okay? So I want you to just be aware of that when you're listening to things, that you're not just listening for the story, you're not just listening for sales ability, you're listening to learn who it is that you're selling to, how it is that you can sell to them, how you can effectively get them to make decisions. Now, we're going to come back and we're going to teach you how to capture leads in just a moment. But before we do that, I've got a important video that I want you to watch. Okay, so we've got a video here. Then we're going to come back with actually our CMO and our in-house copywriter, Rob, who had a 6-figure business online before he was 20 years old. And we're going to show you how to make killer lead capture pages that'll just suck leads from the internet like an out-of-control vacuum cleaner on commission steroids. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is I want you to pay attention to this special video that we're going to start playing right now.